The first question is the political interference between central government and local government.
That is not true. That's a lie.
Honorable Minister, you heard my question very well. I said this government is an advocate of transparency.
Not only advocate, it's a government of transparency.
This government,
No, this government is a government of transparency.
Honorable Minister,
It's a fact. The fact that we are here talking to you is a fact. You are asking cheap questions. You have the whole cabinet here. You better ask something what people want to hear.
Our Minister of Environment is here. I mean, there has been a lot of talk about waste. Even though it's a job for the councils to do, she's been working hard to do that because the councils have struck their responsibilities. We have the Minister for Digital Economy. The whole idea of digital economy in the Gambia. What is his vision for that? What is this ministry doing to ensure that we now transition to a more digitally wired society? We have all these ministers here. We told important questions. Please ask them those questions. Those very difficult. Don't feel sorry for them, please. Environment, public service, foreign affairs, higher education, basic education, and trade. And also thank you for joining us today in this final government press conference of the year. As we reflect on the months behind us, we do so with a deep sense of responsibility as a government. But this responsibility is towards our people that we serve, but also with a deep sense of renewed commitment to the values that guide our nation forward. As a government, we take transparency and accountability very seriously. That is why today we have about 6 or 7 ministers coming to attend this press conference, interface with the public through the media. So you can hold us accountable, ask relevant questions, and we can give answers to those questions. This is what we mean, what we mean when we say accountability and transparency. And thank you to the ministers for taking time off your busy schedule to come here today. Now, under the leadership of His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, this year has marked continued progress in strengthening our democracy. And I think everybody can agree with us on that. Our institutions have grown more resilient, civic freedoms have been upheld, and the space for dialogue, accountability, and participation has been preserved. These are not just abstract ideals. They are the foundation of a nation where every citizen's voice matters and where leadership is exercised in trust on behalf of the people. We have also continued to consolidate peace and stability in this country over the past year. In a world facing growing uncertainty, our country remains a place that promotes coexistence, tolerance, and social harmony. This peace has not been taken for granted. It has been actively protected through inclusive governance, and I underline that word, inclusive governance and inclusive prosperity, respect for the rule of law, and cooperation among communities, security services, the government, and civil society. In the area of infrastructure, the government has made steady investment to support long-term development goals, from roads and transport networks to energy, education, both basic and higher education, healthcare. These projects are designed not only to connect places, but to connect people to opportunity, thereby boosting economic activity, improving mobility, and laying the groundwork for future growth. Equally important has been our focus on service delivery. Across key sectors, efforts have continued to improve access, efficiency, and the quality of public services. While challenges remain, obviously, the direction is very clear that the government, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, is committed to working to ensuring that we meet the everyday needs of our citizens and to ensure that development is felt in real and practical terms, both in urban Gambia and also in rural Gambia. Now, as we conclude this year, we acknowledge the hard work of public servants across all sectors, partners and citizens whose contributions make progress possible. We also recognize that nation building is an ongoing journey, one that requires honesty about our challenges and determination to do better. This press conference is an opportunity to reflect to inform and to engage openly with the public through you, the media. You've been a very critical and important partner over the past year. I think the relationship between the government and the media has never been better. 2025 is the peak of the relationship in a very positive way. So we remain committed to transparency and democratic governance and to building a peaceful and prosperous future for all citizens. The President's vision is to ensure that every Gambian lives a dignified life. That is why we are making all these investments across all these sectors, both capital investments in infrastructure, but also investments in social services, women empowerment projects, youth empowerment projects, and so on and so forth. We want to show a 5-minute video before we go on to the Q&A. We want this to be a very short press conference. That video will now highlight most of the achievements as a government we've made in the past year. That video is a 5-minute video. After the video now, we'll open the floor for Q&A. We have the ministers here, some are on their way, but we have enough ministers here to be able to answer some of the questions or most of the questions that may arise from this press conference. Now, I don't know who is in charge. If we can play the 5-minute video, and then we can go on to Q&A. I thank you, the press, for your continued support, and we are looking forward to working together again in 2026. Thank you. Can you, who's there? Madam, the ministers have to watch this, so they can put on this here.
In the agriculture sector, government investments in input support, mechanization, feeder roads, and digital systems have strengthened food security, improved efficiency, and enhanced market access. These initiatives underscore agriculture's central role in rural development and national growth. Major road projects, including the Bertel Harding Highway and the Hakalang Road, have improved mobility, reduced travel time, and enhanced connectivity. These investments continue to drive economic activity and improve access to essential services across communities. Strategic infrastructure projects such as the USET building and ongoing developments in Faraba are strengthening institutional capacity and supporting innovation, service delivery, and national development. Investments in sports infrastructure, including the KG5 Sports Complex and the Mboyo Field, are expanding opportunities for youth development, promoting healthy lifestyles, and strengthening community engagement through sport. The Jabang Power Plant represents a major investment in energy security, improving electricity reliability, and supporting economic and social activities nationwide. Government investments in water supply and sanitation projects in 2025 have expanded access to safe drinking water, improving hygiene, and strengthened public health outcomes, particularly in the underserved communities. Investments in hospitals, health centers, and modern medical equipment have strengthened healthcare delivery, expanding access to quality services, and improving patient outcomes. Expanded classroom infrastructure and key education policies have improved access, reduced overcrowding, and enhanced learning environments. Education remains central to building a skilled and responsible generation. These achievements reflect collective efforts across government, partners, and citizens. The government remains committed to inclusive growth and improved service delivery. We thank the media for their continued partnership and look ahead with confidence to the year ahead. As we conclude the year, the government of the Gambia reflects on progress made across key sectors aimed at improving livelihoods, strengthening infrastructure, and enhancing the well-being of all Gambians. In the agriculture sector, government investments in input support, mechanization, feeder roads, and digital systems have strengthened food security, improved efficiency, and enhanced market access. These initiatives underscore agriculture's central role in rural development and national growth.
Now, as we were hoping, of course, we recognize multiple efforts over the years in Mansakuna. So to go straight to the point and to ask a question which I want to ask. Just yesterday, citizens of Guinea, Conakry, they residing here in their presidential elections. And yourself, Doctor, you were a very strong proponent or advocate for Gambians in the diaspora. Sorry. You even, when I was doing my research today, I remember in your video, you were talking about Guinea Conakry, that those people are voting. Definitely make sure that they can vote. Where are we with that? What's your commitment to that? Because that doesn't seem like it's happening. Okay? So that's my one question. And then the second question is on, and I'll just go directly to the issue of transport. The Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure have publicly stated that one of the new ferries procured in the Netherlands, Damen Shipyard, right, would have been scheduled for delivery in December 2025. Another one that should come. 2 days left. to the end of the weekend fairs? Everybody comments.
Yes, the first question is directly addressed to me. One thing I can assure the public is that government is still committed to ensure we extend the franchise to every government, no matter where you live. There is government commitment. Government has no intention to deprive any government of the franchise. And if we had it, if the laws were possible, we would have done that. Now, we came to realize that you make comparison to getting this correctly. Remember that most of the French-speaking countries have independent elections. And the elections are organized by the state through the ministries of the interior. That makes it easy for them to use their existing embassies. But also the type of voting we have. They don't have the marble and the drum and the sieve. Like they have a paper ballot, which is also easier. So logistically, it's a challenge. But the laws is in terms of demarcation. The constitution is very clear that you must vote in a constituency where you are registered. And the diaspora is not demarcated. I think this calls for I don't see blame game taking us forward. What I see is a reflection on what do we need to do as a country. All the stakeholders, civil society, government, electoral independent committee, to sit together to see what do we need to do based on the framework of the law to make it happen. That is, demarcation has to be done. We have to change existing law. The legal framework has to be right. Logistics has to be right for us to make it happen. Government has no intention to stop diaspora from voting. They're an integral part of our country. They contribute a lot to our GDP, and we want them to vote. But the laws has to be right. Logistics has to be right. And I think it's time for us to have that debate that even countries that are implemented, even they passed the law for diaspora to vote, it took them sometimes 6 years for implementation. And I think the conversion has to start now, all together, all of us, to make it happen. But what I can assure the public is government is committed to expanding the franchise to every Gambian, no matter where you live. That is the one. Now, the second thing on the ferry. When it comes to ferries, you don't just go to the counter and prop ferries and come and make it run. You have to build it. They design and build it. And these timelines are subject to change, of course, which is beyond our control. And like you rightly said, the government is building it. There could be delayed their timeline of delivery timeline. What is important is that a new ferry has been procured and it will be almost done. I am aware that a team currently from the Government Post Authority is traveling to Poland maybe this month or next month to do the final inspection and where it is going to be delivered. But even if you order a car from the Alabama today and they tell you deliver in December, supply chain bottlenecks can have 1 or 2 more delay, 2 months delay. That's not an issue. It's quite normal for that. I'm not sure whether Minister of Trade want to add something to that, if you know anything about it. Yeah, but one thing what is clear is that the ferry is almost done. We've seen pictures of the complete version of it, and very soon it will be delivered. Yes, there are could be delays in terms of delivery timeline, but these are quite normal when you order ferries. These are beyond our control.
Appreciate it. But the first one, for those in the diaspora who look and say that National Assembly members aligned to the NPP government voted out those laws, which should have been in the new elections act, which has just been passed. Diaspora was there. I don't know if you were following the debate. It's unfortunate because this debate is here. But the diaspora clause was moved by members aligned to the NPP.
Well, I cannot speak on who voted and who did not. I'm not aware of the voting powers. But I can tell you is that if that is the case, it's important to understand first. What is important? You cannot bring a law which is not in line with the Constitution. If the Constitution is saying that for diaspora to vote, it should be in place, and it's not in place, I think it is proper to right them to vote for that. Well, like I said, the blame game will not take us ahead. What is important now is for us to sit together as a country. We want diaspora to vote. They want to vote. That is our commitment, like I said, as a government. We don't have any inhibition whatsoever for diaspora to vote. We want them to vote. Now, what do we do to sit together and make it happen? That is what the debate should be about now. But if you want to do blame game, who voted, who did not vote, it will not take us anywhere. You want to add on that? Please.
Mike Chago?
Yeah.
I think that the vote as reference relates to a technical issue. For the fact that what those who voted it down, explanations were that at the time, at the material time, this was not provided for under the Constitution. To the extent that it's not provided in the Constitution, and then you provide for it, that is inconsistent with the Constitution. So how do you reconcile that? Second, at least flip it that way. The draft Constitution 2024 also came with diaspora voting provisions. But then the opposite camp also voted it down. So I think the blame game wouldn't help, but the sincerity and commitment to make sure we have a constitution that allows for diaspora voting, which both sides seems to agree that is happening.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The crux of the matter, His Excellency President Adam Barrow declared diaspora as the 8th region of the Gambia, which means the political will is there to enfranchise and integrate diaspora as part of our national transformation process. Before open for additional questions.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Jasa from the Standard newspaper. My question is for the Minister of Trade. Does your ministry have any plans to permanently reduce the tariff on cement imported from Senegal to allow other operators to partake in this cement business? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Isabella Fantasy. Honorable Minister, in September, the Minister of Trade announced that 33 individuals out of the 39 Ghanaians who was sent to go and work at Spain for the circular migration have gone. So we want to know the latest update on the case.
Thank you. Robert? I think there are two questions for the Honorable. The one on the cement and one on the circular migration. Also, acknowledge the presence of the Minister for Digital Economy and his permanent secretary.
Welcome, Honorable Minister of Digital Economy and Permanent Secretary. Thank you.
On the permanent reduction of tariff on cement, at this stage,
what I can tell you is that government is committed to the protection measure adopted to support our upcoming cement factories, and to an extent that that is the policy direction. I don't envisage any immediate removal of permanent tariff on cement. Not removal, but it's a reduction. At the moment, what we have is temporary reduction of the excise duty on cement from $180 to $30, and it will remain so until further direction, further guidance or further directive. With respect to the migrants,
responded to Spain. Yes, this is true. It's a statement of fact. They left without any explanation. We are doing an assessment to find out exactly why that is the case, whether it relates to non-compliance with the labor rights as provided for under their labor contracts, or is it likely on a condition of work, or whatever they didn't have about. That feedback would have been essential, but we're trying to find out why. Given the fact that the circular migration represents a very good opportunity, a pathway for permanent residency, and within 3 years you are expected to have a paper. So what is only required on your part is to come during the off-season for a period of time and then return back. So, but the good news is that the program is continuing. and we will be recruiting a second batch as soon as possible. But these are the confirmation I can give at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Yes, thank you very much. I am Abdullah, everyone. My question goes to the minister. Sorry, going out the leader. My question goes to the Minister of Trade. The President has not promised that he is going to create 150,000 distributors by 2026. And up to date, regular migration emphasis. And we are here to solve uncomfortable with a tragedy unfolding. We have over 190 migrants lost their lives. Most of them are Gambian. So I would like to know whether your ministry have the data of those employed, or because most of the migrants, when you interview them, what they tell you is that high unemployment rate in the country. So I don't know whether you have the data, and also if you have eligible outcomes, of the government employment program produced. That's the question basically. I don't know whether you understand it. If not, I can do it. Okay, thank you.
I think you can answer this one.
You want to use this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Oh, it's
The loss of life, particularly Gambians, under whatever circumstances, is sad and is hugely regrettable. Particularly if those deaths are largely in search of opportunities to improve the well-being of the person and, of course, country. So we will really pay condolence if indeed the reported boat is completely missing, and those migrants have died. What we cannot confirm that is still being reported in social media, and we have no any confirmation that what is being reported in social media. But we share the same sentiment as you, if indeed this tragedy happens. Now, with respect to the 150,000 policy for job creation by end 2026, and whether or not, if we have any statistics of government program produced jobs as well. I just want to make one clarification. That is to say, the job policy of 150,000 actually is for government as well as non-government jobs, whether it's coming from the private sector, from in the informal sector. And the policy objective remains 150,000 by year 2026. I think since that announcement, 2 years on, we still have 1 year to go, and an active assessment is being carried out as we speak. And as soon as we have the final outcome of the assessment, which will be treated as a midterm report, we will share with you. But I can actually safely say that a good number of work have been produced from government programs, but also from the business environment created by government, which allow the private sector to be active and actually employing. In terms of statistics and if the GBOS data is anything to go by, the unemployment rate remains 4.5%. Thank you.
Let me just add, because you raised a very important point. which I think sometimes is a misconception, that the provision of jobs will entice our young people to stay. Now, this data is telling us that there are people who even leave their jobs to take the back way. I've done a lot of research on the irregular migration thing, and I've seen people who are even businesses, shops. They sold their shops and took the back way. I've seen people who were working and they took loans from the banks because they were working and took the back way. So jobs alone, the provision of jobs alone is not enough. When people they made up their mind to go, you cannot stop them, no matter what opportunities exist. Now, the point you raised about 100,000 jobs, and I think the minister has eloquently answered that question. That is part of the the labor policy, which is about 3 or 4 years, I think, if I'm not wrong, which will end up in. But so far, we don't have the empirical evidence which tells us how many jobs have been created. But anecdotally, I believe that looking at all the sectors, even my sector alone, since 2017, how many people have been employed in the information sector? How many new media houses have opened in this country? My sector alone can boast of thousands of jobs in the value chain. Let's look at the YEP project. Let's look at the SMEs that have been established in this country, over 100,000 SMEs since 2017 today. All provide. So when we say 150, it doesn't mean government will employ all these 150. Government will create the policies and environment and regulatory environment to bring investments. Look at the fintech industry. How much have they employed? The telecoms, how much have they employed? The mobile network operators, how much have they employed? If you bring electricity to rural Gambia, how much employment is created through our electricity expansion project? So for me, I think even if we have the data by looking at how many banks accounts have been opened, looking at social security, looking at the year, I believe that we're able to harvest, we provided more jobs than we even promised. But the data is the problem, to get that data, and I think the ministry is working. There's a special unit that will work on research to get the data for us, and that we can hold us accountable. When the labor policy has ended, now you can hold us accountable. But Biden will provide the data to show Gambia. But back way, irregular migration, there are jobs available in this country, my brother. People have been calling me looking for technicians, solar technicians. They cannot find. I even referred them to the Minister of Education. I called the minister to say, who do you know GTTI? But there's a misalignment of the skills we are learning and what the job market needs, and we need to rectify it.
Yeah, just to add onto that, GBOS, Gambia Bureau of Statistics, is currently conducting business establishment survey, something like that. And I believe that will give us reliable data on businesses that are established. Even if each of those businesses are able to employ one person sole entrepreneurship, you may have at least 20 or 30,000. So going forward, the issue of migration and employability is a challenge. I work in the academia too. And then it's not that there are no jobs, it's about whether the skills match the job requirements. It's a challenge that is being fixed. That's why we have the Honorable Minister of Education, both higher and secondary, work on that. Additional questions?
Yes.
Yeah, in the local languages, preferably.
Yes.
That's good.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes. nekkoon nañ si media bi prior to 2016 nekk nañ fi tam ginnaaw 2016 so notice nañ uute bi nga xamante ne am na in terms of nga mën a am access to information so foog naa crédit boobu nguur gi fi toog moo ko moom ñëw ci suma laaj bi ci njëlbeen dinaa ko doore ak secteur bi ma bokk moo nekk media bi honorable fan yi ñu ngi gis ci social media bi netaali kenn koo xamante ne mu si media secteur bi si réewi Sénégal turam mooy Bougane Gueye Dany ñu dégg ne dañ ko bëgg a jox licence pour mu operate si réewi Gambia fii comme c'est am nañ opportunité bi pour faire na bëggoon nañ nga indi leeral si mbir moomu ndigte
partial lift amul na si bank bi so far ñaata nit a apply ñaata nit lañ joxagum bëgg nañ leeral bu waaye tam spécifiquement ndax am na ñoo xamante ne foreign nationals lañ ñu bëgg a jox licence pour ñu opérer ci suñu secteur bi ñun mooy media bi suma ñaareeli laaj si media bi ba léegi mooy mbiri 40 million bi nga xamante ne indi woon na fi coow lu bari si biir réew mi fii boo xamante ne dañ ko jagleeloon tam media bi xam nañ ne contract la woon pour nguur gi joxoon yenn ci ay media house ci biir réew mi fan lañ toll ci contrat boobu ndar képp nañ ko am te liñ séntu woon ci ñoom def nañ ko am defuñ ko xaalis bi fay nañ ko dem jël wala joxe buñ ko bëggoon naa leeral ci pànn boobu jërëjëf.
Voilà, jërëjëf sa laajte am nañ solo dinaa ko commencé si boo mujjee laajte ndax 40 million contract bi ndax am na njëriñ ndax amul njëriñ ñun si ñu am nañ njëriñ buñ paree def nañ assessment ñu gis ne li taxoon ñu def contract bi loolu amoon na visibilité buñ si soxloon waaye tamit promote ak popularize government agenda bi amoon nañ ko si fuñ toll nag ñëpp xam nañ ne contract bi jeex na depuis February of 2025 one year pilot contract la woon extend duñ ko ministry bi dafa toog saytu ne ndax dañ ko war extend onoon ñu gis ne pour ñu mun a gën a def li ñu war a def mooy pour askan bi gën a mun a jot si xibaar niñ ko war a amee war nañu am beneen stratégie mooy ñu seet naka la ñoo mun a toog jàppale media bi yëpp daan di dimbale not dimbale waa am contract ak fay dañoo seet nag soo ñu ngi seet ba léegi pare muñ si loolu noonu li ma wari bu cabinet la pour ñu di seet la ñoo def moving forward waaye li ma laa mën a mooy contract bi jeex na ñi ñu war a fay ñëpp fay nañ leen dara desut loolu laa lay mën a tontu si boobu noonu si mbiri Bougane nag ñun suñ secteur ma waangum si mbiri moratorium bi amoon na jamono moratorium moo amoon parce que spectrum bi dafa scarce moo tax jàmbat tam am ñu gis ne almost 85% of radio stations yëpp urban Gambia lañ nekk béykat moratorium amoon bu ma ñëwee ma seetluwaat affaire si ma ne ok comme que urban rural Gambia ba léegi am nañ enough spectrum ñu lift moratorium bi but with conditions ñaari condition moo am mooy benn danga war a serve rural community wala danga war a capacity to do nationwide buñ ko liftee ba léegi nag ñun duñ dee receive application for radio pira la dee dem ñoom dee def di technical evaluation di every eva ñoo ko def ñu pare ñu content d'accord ne kii meet na requirements yi ñu si ko si man recommendation for approval buñ ko liftee ba léegi nag benn moo ñëwaangum waaye boobu under coverage dañ ne urban Gambia it means kooku noonu fitut ma delloo ko baax du pour ne seetaan leen lii nii si boobu noonu waaye su ñëwee si kaw wax ni mooy Bougane Gambia lu waa moo fi di dox mooy rule of law ñun suñu dee application du ñuy seet kan moo fa nekk pour kan moo fa nekk compagnie moo dee apply te benn waa waxut ne ki ko moom war na dafa nekk Gambian or not ñu lu gën a am mooy ne solo mooy ne compagnie apply na pour ubbi TV and radio station te mën na all the requirements suñ liggéey ak pour ñu jox la personal license pour ñoo di def the technical evaluation def nañ all evaluations technical evaluation legal evaluation financial evaluation loo xalaat def nañ all that evaluations ñoom kontaan nañ ne this particular entity mi apply pour license meet na all the requirements kon ñoom amul dara pour ñu recommendé ko license waaye amul dara pour dafa turi nit wala turi keneen yow tey soo apply duñ seet ndax Diouf moo apply dañoo seet sa compagnie bi ndax noo ko registré legal entity la ndax all the requirements yoo war a fulfill nga ko within the framework of the law jël license noonu lañ leen doxalee as a government duñ dee seet ndax diw la ndax di loolu important pour ñun li important mooy ne compagnie boo xam ne is a registered company mi ne all the requirements recommended pour jël license nañ leen def license which one is that I think mënuma exactly the company Pura ñu nekk di work on that like I said man dafa ñëw si man ma approve but if Pura recommend nañ ne mel nañ all the criteria su ñëwee si man will approve.
aywa mun naa rek suma ñaareel question bi ok ñaareel bi gis nañ vidéo bi nga xamante ne play nañ ko mu wane yokkute ak jéego yi nga xamante ne nguur gi jël na ko leneen loo xamante ne kenn mënut koo weddi dama day wax ne tali moom mun la wax ne diw liggéeyu tali because lu bóot di gis la waaye terewut li nga xamante ne tam ñu ngi ko dégg muy jógee ci ñenn ñi mooy ne naam Barrow defar na tali yu bari waaye suñ xoolee standard bu tali yi ak suñ xoolee liñ ne moo ci dugga ak ñun liñ njorta ne moo ci dugga day njorta ne du ñàkk ne guerre am na ci wala li waroon a dugga ci tali yi ni dugg ci mooy weddi wuñ ne tali am na waaye fu nekk fu weddi bi nekk mooy ndax liñ wax ci xaalis dem na fa ak it lii daal biñ ko xoolee dafa mel ni dafa substandard maanaam àggut ci fiñ ko séntu woon lu mel noonu comme nguur lan mooy nekk seen tontu jëm ci.
man xamoon na naka di toog yi amuloo benn technical expertise nga xool tali rek nga di substandard di ko doon ko xool teg xamoo si la nga ko teg mun nga understand loolu noonu ah yow nga xool tali rek nga di substandard la si la nga ko teg lan mooy sa expertise man loolu laa mun a understand waaye naa ba ministre mu
naa la tontu rek ba pare mais bi jox la analogy mooy military just like hotel da ngay am hotel classes 4-star, second star, 3-star, 5-star. Now yoon tam noonu la mel for example the 50-kilometer route constructed around the Greater Banjul area was about $50 million. So each kilometer would be $1 million somewhere. And $1 million something like 72 million. Now, if you go further down to other routes, the rural routes that we are constructed, it's estimated to be around 24-25 million per kilometer. But whole battle hadn't been 22 kilometer dualized, and it's costing how much? Can you remember the figure? Again, you can do the maths. You divide that. It's much more expensive. It will be within the region of maybe $1 million or $1.5 million. Class of road. If you go to, for example, the affairs in Senegal, this is a $10 million per kilometer route. So route that depends on class. You can have single surface route, you can have double surface route, you can have asphalt, you can have double asphalt. So that depends exactly what you want to build. What you build will determine the cost. But of course, what you build will also take into account the traffic flow, the traffic count, and the geology of the area that you are building. All of those will factor in the cost. Now, like to the point the Minister of Information just made, Gambians should also be asking tough questions. You cannot just see a social media postings and then conclude that there was corruption. And it's coming from a source who is not an expert, who haven't done any performance assessment, who did not know anything about road, and just make that and then people believe it. Now, the closest one get to relates to the audit findings, where it was indicated that there are unaccounted funds simply because of missing documents. Now, why don't you again ask and check further that whether those documents were later found? Because it leads to an addendum that was not seen. But we were told those addendums were later found. And it's not even showing up in the 2024 audit reports anyway. So that means the matter has been closed. So these are the things that we should be very much alert. Let's ask questions. Let's verify, but especially it's also trust the expert. If it's coming from an expert, then maybe we can believe it. But just anybody sending out those stuff, I think need to be further verified. And maybe further question be asked. Thank you.
That the way things work in this country, there are vigorous checks and controls to make sure that the quality of the roads built are top notch. That is a fact. And I think most of these things are political statements. You build a road and they say, okay, I mean, there are two things. Either they say stop standard or they're taking loans to build roads. What if we build roads? We brought roads to areas that never had tarmac road before in Kabata. We built it Hakalang Road, 84 kilometers. For 60 years, they struggled to build it. Sankande Tankula Road, we built it. For 60 years, they've been struggling to build it. In Uara, in Sierra, in West Coast region here, we're building roads to connect people, boost trade, promote tourism. Now, but again, the opposition wouldn't want that to happen because they know that that will be and mark the end of their political careers because they will never be voted into office because everybody knows the president's transformative successes. So they'll look for ideas about his ideas not quality. How can a layman, someone who doesn't even understand what roads is substandard? So for me, I didn't want to stop. But like I said, we have 7 to 8 ministers here. We have Minister of Public Service. I want to ask the minister about his reforms in the public service as part of the civil service reforms. I wanted to ask Professor Gomez about his vision for education transformation. Recently, we inaugurated Lot 2 of Rababanta campus, consisting of the School of Agriculture, Law, and the Chancery Building, and also laying the foundation stone for the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences. We have the Minister of Basic Education. What is his policy to transform basic education in the country? Now that access is not a problem, we build over 6,000 classrooms and over 100 schools. What about quality? We want that to answer those questions. We have the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the first time, I think, meeting the press since his appointment. What is his vision for Gambia's foreign policy and diplomacy? These are questions we should talk about. This should be a debate, not people who have no idea about roads saying that these are substandard. Thank you.
Okay. So, last question. Last. Final.
I forgot. Our Minister of Environment is here. I mean, there are a lot of talk about waste. Even though it's a job for the councils to do, she's been working hard to do that because the councils have shared their responsibilities. We have the Minister for Digital Economy. The whole idea of digital economy in the Gambia. What is his vision for that? What is this ministry doing to ensure that we now transition to a more digitally wired society? We have all these ministers here. We told important questions. Please ask them those questions. Those very difficult. Don't feel sorry for them, please.
Yeah. So just one last one. We then see why this more Minister of Agriculture, but if the Information Minister can actually check more the issue of groundnut CTKBP because it has been a problem since independence. More than every season the Japa price will get announced for this year is 38,000 per ton and $38 per kilo. So this has been the pattern. The really movie from at lady. And transformation on the name change from GDC to National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation. Nidi yaakaaroon ne xëj na coppite dina am ba nga xam ne gerte gi du ne digg bi rek la ñoo jaay ji si biti waaye mun koo soppi ba mu jëriñ réew mi fan la nguur gi am toll si loolu bi docteur doon wax mu ngi wane a disconnect between tamit métier ak li nga xamante ne loolu la réew mi soxla ak li nga xamante ne moom la ñoo jàngale ci suñ bërëbi jàngeekaay and man maa ngi si media bi te mun naa attest that ñun tey certain things yoo xamante ne practical la dangaa jëli yoo xam ne technical la dangaa jëli ji people from other countries pour ñu mun a koo def waaye loo xamante ne yu technically like even sa transmitter su amee problème fii you have to go to Senegal ñëpp mun nañoo attest to that so which means ne am na disconnect boo xamante ne am na between liñ soxla comme réew ak li nga xamante ne moom la ñoo jàng ci suñ bérébi jàngeekaay comme ñu bool bi di move so bëgg naa xam naka lañ nekk di def tam to close that gap mooy si education sector bi pour mu mun a jox li nga xamante ne lañ soxla comme réew and not necessarily pour am rek certificate si turi ne am na certificate waaye fekk am na liggéey yi fi ne yoo xamante ne ba léegi mënuñ koo saafara.
kontaan naa progress Minister of Education mu fi liñ gaane kat yi def yëpp pour gis ne ñu build right skills ñu ko moom dina si tontu si loolu progress you can get ready waaye si mbiri gerte bi naa la mën a wax ne fu mu nekk ni GGC on di ñëw neen ñu ngi work on ñu gis ne ñu transform the groundnut shells yi into fuel for a new power plant moo xam ne it will add at least 5 megawatts of electricity to nawet ñu ngi ñu start si loolu noonu that's value addition but da ngaa gis ne di $38,000 per tonne bi duñ dee toog rek government ewu suba rek ba ne $38,000 no we do consultations with the Gambia Groundnut Farmers Association. We look at the sub-region lan mooy potential price bi because remember we are very porous borders as well sa price am na noo ko defee rek di nga encourage smuggling in and out of the country while at the same time we look at the world market price all these things lañ dee xool ñu come up with the agreement ne lii mooy price boo xam ne is suitable farmers dinañ si njëriñu waa government and resources remember ñu ngi spend over $1 billion si groundnut bi nii waaye long term plan is ñu add value to it in the country moo tax président mu ngi promote local industries moo tax dafa am special tour bu ñu industrial tour waaye tamit ñu ngi am di through GAPA di SIC special investment certificate yoo xam ne te ñu ngi promote pour ici investors yi fii ñu add value to this waaye these are 2 questions pour Minister for Trade mu wax lan mooy government and policy on local industrialization waaye programme na wax about these skills yooyu wax ñam naa ne moom ñu ngi build so many vocational training center, both specialized and multi-purpose. More than I want to do. For our startup programs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Information and honorable colleagues. Thank you, and the brothers and sisters from the media. Season greetings and Happy New Year. And, yes, somebody asked about what we are doing when it comes to skill sets and so on. As you must have seen, His Excellency President Adam Barrow has given you Christmas gift. That is the Farababanta campus and Lot 2, and also the Lot 3 that was laid at the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, $37 million, among others. I have been saying when we are ready with Farababanta, the Gambia government would have spent over $7 billion on UTG alone. So you now understand where we're heading to. This government is really ready for to change, and that's the key word, transformation, to change what we've been doing. We are not satisfied with people that need a then Gambia would have gone very far. See? So we cannot do the same thing. So in essence, you've seen the transformation. You see in June, you've seen USAID never existed. It means you and I were here in this country for 60 years after independence. No homegrown engineer. Tell me, which country developed without you producing homegrown engineers? We take loans to build these roads. Who are the engineers doing it? The money comes, it goes out. Technical problem. The solution? A system of containment. Take money, give it to your people, train them, and give it to them. The money stays. Then you have a financial breathing space. Then this is how you bring development in a country. There is no development that is based on borrowed labor. You are wasting your time. Unless and until it is linked to higher education skills, you will waste your time. Because you cannot tell me any developed country that has developed without paying attention to these areas. So it is very simple. That's the reason we went to school. You younger, understand, you apply. Why did school give us it talk the whole or there's something else? Don't say in the development. No more than that, President Barrow Japan métier moo yore réew moo tax na nga gis ne ñu nekk di am regional Tibet centers amuñ ko woon moo tax gis nga ne in the Phonis amuñu woon Tibet center start on something in Demban, in Kanilai. In those days, nothing. But with President Barrow, again, Demban, it is ready, it's functional. Multi-purpose, ñu ngi now expand even the dormitories and so on and staff quarters in Demban. In Kanilai, is operational. Xale yi ñu ngi ñëw uniform temps yi léegi. So yooyu yëpp amutoon te léegi am na. Even the National Assembly mu ne moom dafa kontaan sa guys around that area in Kanilai sax ñu ngi contract xale yi léegi pour ñu ñawal leen. You see, imagine that. So movie in Philadelphia refurbished, change and go. I mean, some hotel, how you call dormitories in Mansakongo. So Tibet Center Bopanega. In URA, in July, you get renovate in the coming months. The Napari. The new Swin Tibet Center see the accommodation for the staff and dormitories for students. That's the model. ba pare nag ñu ngi ñëw indi ay equipment for them léegi soo ñëwee CRR both CRR North and CRR South amuñu woon Tibet Center foofu noonu am yàgg nañ ñun juru ñu nekk di dégga you know that is the bread basket of this country for many years loolu la ñu wax anam so léegi ñu ngi build Tibet Center in Kuntaur big as Gambia College. Everything. In the coming months, dina pare. Already, so the academic block, the Bouye pare. Dormitories, staff quarters, also workshops. We very soon the equipment also for that. Multi-purpose. In CRR South, in Pacha, agribusiness, only on agribusiness. It's a mindset. Duñ mëna ndek ci réew bo xamné dañ am river Gambia. That area fresh water. Ñu ne dem in school. 60 years after independence, ñu tok nak diw ne dañoo xaar taw. 2 months, 3 months maximum. You see, amuñ that patience pour nekk di repeat li ñoo def noonu. So it is real. The development agenda of this country is real. The marching orders from His Excellency President and our board is very clear. That we must deliver. And to deliver, we must. For what I mean, you build a Tibet Center. God willing, come before 2026, both am dinapari. Musuto na am. Both North and South, here am musuto. In the coming months, in Pini, Tujare, dinang also start the construction for the Tibet Center on Fisheries, on Aquaculture and Fisheries. Musuta. Even our neighbors within West Africa, so you am the river, you am the Atlantic Ocean. That's where the specialists put new one, you learn like a swing dog. Nakala you want to feed this in Boba. And so we need that. Why you are building this, the Gambia government using their own funds without support from anybody. We send our people, UTG graduates in biology, in agriculture and also economics to go and read fisheries and aquaculture. You know, the Gambia government, you know, the separate said masters. Legi ñu ngi work for them to go and do some practicals. Am na ñeneen ñu ngi defaat other programs. Lii yëpp mu ngi fa for the government. So I know there are other people ñu bëgg a wax, but just to summarize, lii yëpp, in addition to the civilian sectors, for the first time the Gambia government taking 400 million for skills and innovation, entrepreneurship and innovation to support the youth. Thank you very much.
I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources, Honorable Musa Drame, Honorable Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Honorable Makila. Okay.
Honorable Ministers, you are welcome. Now, Molami,
dama ko mën a dellusiwaat rek soo ko mayee si mbiri yoon bi ma la doon démonstrer that sometimes when they make comparison, it's also even doesn't make sense. But the fact that it's always very difficult to compare two rules when the geology of the rules and what is being built is different. Let me also give you additional information relating to, I asked you about the cost of management before the second phase. It's about 71 million for 22 kilometer triple way. Dollars, 71.5. And that takes you around, it takes you around $3 million per kilometer. But these roads, for example, mungi am drainage, mungi am flyovers, mungi am street lights. So they you want to have amut flyovers, amut those essentials. They don't want to compare because the components are different. Secondly, the geology itself, which go build, geology area is completely different. For example, Hakalang. To most people, Hakalang was Hakalang simply because how many people know a proper borrowed pizza was difficult. Young don't them all the way to Badibu to get borrowed pit to go to take to Hakalang. So you can imagine the physical challenge that was presented there. So Lola Bugona Maneharama Nyan, just to give you further clarification regarding the comparison some of them are trying to make.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Sisi. Thank you, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research and Technology, Professor Pierre Gomez. Demand, quite interesting success attracts a lot of innovation and people have an interest. We've seen that many people want to take advantage of the use to re-educate, to engage in continuous education. The University of the Gambia, for instance, we are seeing high demand in postgraduate admission. I don't know what arrangement you have in place for those who want to do postgraduate studies, whether you have any plans to also maintain satellite campus across the Gambia, across the country, just to balance the TVET. Because there's a demand. A lot of people who are advanced in age, they would like to go back to UTG, they would like to go back, and that one is attributed to the success. And when these opportunities are there, people want to go and even continue education is also an area. Plans we have in place either to maintain carnifing into a postgraduate or continuous education center, or what packages are in place for those elderly people who really want to go back to school.
Just one more question for Prof. My name is Awamane. I work with GRTS. The question I want to ask is any update on the issue of building a CREST facility for nursing mothers?
Yeah, thank you very much. Issue of first, thank you for the two questions. One regarding the postgraduate, I know it's an indirect one. I know some of our people around the Greater Banyu area would prefer to be around, not to go to Paraba. But I keep on telling you, Paraba is home, and the move is irreversible. So you will have to give space to others because we're spending millions out there. So those buildings that are there here around MDI Road will be handed over to the former MDI, now CSU, Civil Service University. Our strategy is for them, we are not going to build, we are going to renovate. And to renovate, you must vacate that space and go to the 7 stories that we built for you and the schools that we've done. We decided to take loans and grants and invest. So we will not encourage to be there and here at the same time, and then we have to now build for them. So that's the objective. The current peace building of UTG at MDI Road will be the Chancery building of the CSU, Civil Service University, after its renovation, after UTG would have vacated that space. Yeah, the crash cabinet has approved last time the crash strategy, and we are working with different partners. Part of the centers of excellence, like the Tuyeren one, will have a crash. We're also going to have one at UEG, University of Education, the Gambia, formerly Gambia College, and also at UTG. These are strategies, but we're going to do it gradually so that we democratize education. Nobody will stay at home because that is the new norm. This government is out there for everybody. And I only decided you don't know. Everything is done for you to have education. That's the marching order. Very inclusive for everybody. So that the women folk, they form the majority now, they will now continue to have access to education. Thank you very much.
Brilliant access for everyone, inclusivity. So you learn until you drop. So,
And one more question for the Honorable Minister of Environment. Early 2025, you led a delegation to Ghana to expenditure to just one group of companies to see how they collaborate with the government to manage waste. So any update, because I understand that they were also in the Gambia here and they have a meeting with you. Any update on that issue?
Thank you and good afternoon. And I want to use this opportunity to thank Honorable Minister Dr. Sise for making sure that this government has a regular interface with the public. This is what we call for real democracy and also transparency. Thank you for leading, but also thank you to our leadership for providing the platform to make sure that we're able to have an open door policy whereby we don't want people to depend on rumors. Rumors can agitate, can also even lead to crisis, can also lead to what we call instability. So we are you are us. So this is what we need. Thank you for that. You are part of the team, and I think you are right to also ask. This government, I want to use the opportunity also to tell you that waste collection and disposal is not the responsibility of the central government, but the councils, whom we pay our taxes. But unfortunately, since independence, the councils are unable to meet the demand, especially with the increasing population, especially also within the greater Banjul. It's becoming a crisis that no government, serious government, should ignore. And this time around, His Excellency is also ignoring. We thought the usual setup that was happening here without following the due process is not the way to take, because we have the anti-data law that gives us, that doesn't give us the right to close shops and stop business on Saturdays to do a setup. And that's not sustainable as well. It's very expensive. We want a system that will be sustainable, that will be at least pay dividend with respect to environmental friendly standards. So that's why, since I was appointed as minister, it has been my task. The president told me that his main priority is to make sure that at least the infrastructure development that we are all seeing, roads, and even the building institutions should match with a clean environment, but also green. So this has been on my desk, and we have been looking for, but waste management is not an easy thing to do. It requires heavy investment, but not only investment, but also expertise. We have had proposals from different individuals on different issues to manage waste. But this time around, I think we are lucky. For now, that's what I can say from what we have seen. We have been introduced to this company by their way of being aggressive to do their marketing. They introduced their company to the vice president some time back on one of their travels. So the vice president gave them the open invitation to visit. They came and presented. The presentation was so much enticing that we couldn't believe. So that was why we went to Ghana to see for ourselves. Because I have more than 2, 3, 4 people that has come, but they are unable to continue on the discussion. So when we went to Ghana, as we have seen on the GRTS, what we have seen is really convincing. To summarize, at the moment, what we are doing is to make sure that we exhaust rigorously all the legal bottlenecks, the technical and the financial. As I said, it's not going to be a short-term investment, it's going to be a long-term investment. The commitment has not been finalized. We have other proposals also on the decks that are other partners, international partners that we are engaging. We want to make sure that what we are going to finalize at the end of the day is fit for purpose and also financially applicable and sustainable. But the engagement has advanced generally because His Excellency is putting the highest pressure on us, and we can all attest that what we want this Gambia to be, our Minister of Infrastructure, as they call him, Minister Prof. Gomez, and also the Minister of Transport, who are very aggressive on roads and infrastructure, need to have this match with the environment. Without a clean environment, we cannot sell the Gambia the way it is. And this unprecedented transformation must match with a green but also clean environment. And the government is highly committed. Join us in prayers. Join us also with all that you have in spirit to be able to get this. But we are assured that before the end of 2026, we will deliver a sustainable, comprehensive waste management mechanism that is in line with environmental standards. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Honorable. And I think another important aspect is the human capital. It starts with us. We have the citizens, this beautiful road, people throwing litter everywhere. So attitudinal change is also an important aspect of it. We can have all this sophisticated, waste solid management system, but if the people are not, willing to cooperate or to adjust, it's going to be just a vicious cycle. Have a question?
Yeah, good afternoon once again. My question is for the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The U.S. government has declared that entry of Gambians holding B1, B2, FM, and J visas shall be suspended effectively January 1st, 2026. This means Gambians intending to travel to U.S. for business, tourism, academia, and exchange programs will be restricted from entering the U.S. As Foreign Minister, could you tell Gambians what is the position of the Gambia government on this visa restriction? And going forward, what are you going to do to see that this restriction is lifted? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me thank Dr. Sise for organizing this press conference, and also to thank members of the media, and also to my colleague, ministers who are present here today. Thank you, lady, for this very important question. I mean, this is about the United States policy, and it's not only affecting the Republic of the Gambia. The policy is affecting many countries, including the Gambia. The recent restriction placed by the United States on certain categories of visas, like you have mentioned, B1, 2, F1, these are the business visas, especially for those that have already concluded, their stay in the United States, and according to the policy, they should return home. I mean, now in the United States, it has already been published that there are a good number of Gambians who have exhausted their stay, we call it overstay, and then they have not returned back. And then the restriction applies to those categories of people and countries that if they do not see to the return of their citizens, then the United States will have to place certain restrictions. And that applies also to the visa bond of up to 15,000 United States dollars. But once you return, also the 15,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 is refundable. So this is what we are doing currently. When we receive the instructions from the United States, what we do as a ministry and as a country, we have to engage the United States. Here, the United States government, represented by their embassy, we also communicated through our diplomatic note, engaging them and then to open up dialogue, and also to ask at least for reconsideration of the decision by the United States on these visa restrictions. Similarly, also our mission in Washington also do engage the State Department on a similar arrangement as well. All that we can do as a country is just to continue our dialogue, diplomacy with the United States. But this is not our policy, it's the policy of the United States. Thank you. My name is Landin Sise. I work for Gambia Journal. Gambia and Turkey have been enjoying a very fruitful relationship since independence. And with the recent, agreements between the Albert, which is British company, and the government of the Gambia, that concession agreement, that one also is, one could say, strengthen the relationship between the government of the Gambia and Turkey. But we have a lot of Gambians in Turkey, and as far as I know the information that I receive, based on my records, we have about 50 Gambians who are currently in prison in Turkey, and Senegalese citizens are enjoying that because my sources, inform me that when a Senegalese citizen is arrested, he will be taken. For example, he is arrested in Izmir. He will be taken back to Istanbul, and within 2 days he will be released because of the agreement or the relationship between Turkish government and the Senegalese government. And also Gambia government is having that good relationship with Turkey. What is your ministry doing in order to ensure what Senegalese citizens are enjoying in Turkey, Gambian citizens also are enjoying? I will give you a scenario. There is this Gambian. He was trying to leave Turkey for Greece, and in the forest, he had an accident, and his leg was broken. Despite his leg being broken, he was taken to prison in Turkey, and not sufficient treatment was given to him. And currently, he is suffering in Turkey. He wanted to come back, but he could not come back. He was not allowed to. So what is your ministry doing to ensure that Gambians in Turkey enjoy the same privilege or similar privilege that the Senegalese citizens are enjoying there? So I have a second question, but I don't know whether the boat, the vessel that got lost, that is carrying 190 people. My brother is part of that, and I just returned from the village, and then we've done charity for him. We believe that he is not alive, and he died. Sorry about that. Since I received the information that he left, I've been counting the days. After 2 weeks, I know that he's not alive. He's not going to make it. What is the government doing to fast track, to know, to confirm that actually the boat got lost? Because for us, we already believe that he's no longer with us. He died. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll just start with the last part of your question. Deeply sorry about the loss of your beloved relatives. I mean, we've also received the news of the migrant boat that has capsized, in the coast of Mauritania, and then according to some reports, about 150 Gambians were on board, that vessel. We are also working with our mission in Marksop and also our partners to make sure that at least what is needed in terms of rescue and other support is being offered. We're deeply sorry. We express our condolences in this regard. It's a very trying moment, very sad, to have this number of youths that are embarking in this irregular migration, and then having to meet, this unfortunate circumstances in the course of their journey. Well, government will continue to take actions on this. Government is ready to make sure that whatever is needed to prevent this kind of, illegal journey, working with partners and also our diplomatic representations in the regions, we'll make sure we'll continue to do that. But it's rather unfortunate, to have this kind of, circumstances. With regards to our relationship with the Republic of Turkey, we have a very excellent bilateral relations with Turkey. You've cited some instances where Gambians are being, taken to jail Well, we are working with our mission. We have not received this kind of reports. Probably you must have received from your source, according to you, and then the other individual was traveling to Greece and then happens to get himself injured and was taken to prison instead of, being accorded, the necessary support. We don't know whether it was in Turkey or whether it's in Greece. Probably you may want to clarify that. No, Izmir is in Turkey, Greece is in another country.
Izmir is in Turkey.
Yes.
It happened in Turkey.
Okay.
He's currently with the authorities.
Okay, the Turkish authorities in Turkey. Okay, we will find out also from the, if you can provide us with the name, we will be able to facilitate and help, to find out. Yes. Well, our diplomatic engagement with Turkey is very healthy and very excellent in that. Turkey and Gambia has many important cooperation agreements signed in many sectors of our economy. We can name health sector, in education sector, in agriculture sector, in energy sector, in many other sectors as well. And you have also seen, because of our collaboration and our good engagement with Turkey, you've also seen Turkish investment companies also in the Gambia here doing a very important job. We will continue to engage like we did in Turkey. We will also have other arrangement and bilateral engagement with other countries as well. This is the type of foreign policy that Gambia has already showcased, to have a healthy relationship with countries, both bilaterally and multilaterally. So that is going to be our new focus in 2026, to enhance that diplomatic engagement with our partners. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. This is Boubacar Shaw from West Coast Radio. My question goes to the Education Minister, actually the Basic and Secondary Education Minister. We've received a disturbing incident the other time that one of the teachers was stabbed by a grade 11 student. And then we want to know, are there measures that the government is putting in place to make sure the safety and well-being of our Gambian educators?
Education. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And thanks for allowing us to have questions. We have more, but since today is the last one, my question is regarding the issue of the veil. We've seen that there has been a very improvement on the veil issue, but still, it's leaving government in a position to what will government now do? Because the decision, the ruling wasn't so. Yeah. So my question was about the veil. The question is that we've seen the ruling on the veil, and which has left it open for government to still decide what they would do going forward with this veil. Will there are two schools of thought, of course. You have those who have the Catholic schools or Christian schools that say veil is not part of their uniform, and everybody must wear the uniform. Whilst there are others who say wearing the veil is part of their religious right, and that they should not be deprived from wearing the veil, even in Catholic schools where that's their uniform. What will you do as the minister? You have the difficult job of deciding either to enforce that schools who don't accept the veil must accept the veil, or the uniform is what takes priority. What do you do now? What does the government do?
Let me take those two first. Then we can.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I also want to take this opportunity to really thank and appreciate Honorable Minister for information, for the leadership, and for all the work that he has been doing with his team to create visibility when it comes to government work and to bring us closer to the people. And I think these interactions are healthy in every democracy, and they bring about knowledge and understanding amongst us. Honorable ministers here present, thank you also for the participation. Ladies and gentlemen, I am highly delighted really to participate in this discourse. And to begin with the last question that is posed, of course, those things began some years before the ruling just recently, and we respect the court ruling. And as it is, of course, we will go by that. But before that, also, we had an incident in the St. Peter's Senior Secondary. And if you recall, the ministry dispatched a press that we are working on it, and we are engaging with all our stakeholders and partners when it comes to dress code. So we will have a standardized dress code that will cut across the board, that will be an information out in the public what is acceptable in all our schools across the country. So I think this will bring about understanding when it comes to the appearance of the child, both male and female, going to the school. So that work is currently ongoing. And we are in collaboration with, of course, all the stakeholders, both the school administrators, owners of schools, and of course, government stakeholders, just to ensure that we all come to one common ground and decide on what is the acceptable standard of dress code when it comes to the kids. So that will be addressed very soon. Now, coming to the first question regarding the assault. I think the assault case that happened in the school, one of our schools, senior secondary school, that involved a female student and a teacher. Like you also saw, we expressed our displeasure for that indiscipline. It was one that we cannot align ourselves really with having a student assaulting a teacher. But the matter is at the moment before the court, so we will allow the courts to handle the matter. Maybe after that, as a ministry, if there is anything that we should do, we definitely will take action on that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening. While announcing your presser on the WAS result release, you made mention that about 600 students we have found with examination malpractice and investigations we are ongoing. How far with the investigations? And our research has shown that this has been a recurrent incident that has been happening. Year before last, it was 28. Last year, which is this year, we have 600, over 600. What is your ministry also doing to make examination malpractice a thing of the past?
Okay. I mean, no system of education wants its students to cheat during exams, but it's unfortunate that these are inevitable. The people always get smarter and they try to find the easy way, to pass their exams. So what we can tell you is that part of our reforms is to ensure that we support the children also to display some level of integrity and trust and confidence in themselves in collaboration with, of course, the communities and our teachers and the administrators, so that during the exams, we all come with some level of preparation and confidence, and not we get ourselves involved in cheating. We may not be able to eradicate it, but the firm stand that we will continue to take as a ministry is to discipline and put in the right places of people who try to find their ways cheaply when it comes to exams. And for the past WASC exam, exam malpractice that we had, the cases have been already, the people who should sit on those cases have already sat on the cases, and very soon those reports will come out. But normally it's not an easy ride for any child who is involved in those activities. We don't accept it. There is zero tolerance for exam malpractice, so I encourage every student to, not get themselves involved in it, because it only delays you. It delays you and it retards also your progress when it comes to your academic activities. Yes, so actions, of course, very stringent actions are normally taken against those students who are involved.
Regarding the introduction of national language in school. update us on the progress you made so far?
We have made very, very good progress in actually strengthening our foundational learning. You see, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is the foundation of whatever higher education, research, science, and technology is doing. And that is why we also continue to work and sync our programs so that we can build the foundation that Honorable Professor Gomez needs to help the students to thrive and to complete successfully, meaningfully to national development. So in the areas of the foundation, we realize that a lot of students struggle at the early ages of their lives trying to understand the concepts that they really need in order to grow. And we have done our research and looked into other systems of education, and we realized that the mother tongue, the language that the child speaks from the early beginnings, seems to be a fundamental pillar that can be used to also educate or give the instructions at the early stages of their lives. And we have seen this work in Ghana and several other countries. So we started with a pilot project, which began 2 years ago, and it's going on very well. That's the MAZE program, which we piloted in 55 schools. So we did assessments of that pilot, and we realized that the students are becoming more confident, and they have been able to succeed also in literacy, basically literacy and numeracy. So there is also some other works that we are doing with support from the RISE project. That's the World Bank supported project to scale this up a little bit. So we have also begun to enrolled similar initiative in more schools across the country. It will be in a pilot phase for the next 5 years to see how it works. But so far, with what we have seen that students are becoming more confident in terms of their literacy and in their numeracy. And this is what we need to strengthen at that level, so that as they transition into the upper basic and the LBS, that is from 1 to 3, then 4, they will understand the foundations, and it can also help them in their upper or higher levels of education. So far so good. I think we are doing well in that. And the pilot involves the use of 7 local languages. I see people criticize the ministry when we began with Wolof. I try to explain to people that I wish we had begun with Sarahule because I'm a Sarahule. But that is not the case. For me, it's not about the tribe. It's about what we had available at the time that could support the work that we began, or the reform that we started. And the wall of material, apparently, at the time, I was told that they were majorly available in the ministry, and the people who were also going to run the program were more conversant and also comfortable with the use of the Wolof language, and that was why it was the language of instruction we started with the pilot. But 6 additional languages are being used, including Sarahule, to ensure that we cover more people and more languages across the country, basically just to ensure that our children have a strong foundation in the areas of literacy and numeracy, which as a country we continue to be challenged. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have about 10 minutes. It would not be a good idea if we should leave without having some ministers also speak a bit. Oh, you have questions? Okay. Local government. In fact, what's your question for him? What's your question for the minister? No, for the local government minister, please. Yes. No, you're not audible.
I'm good. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, oftentimes we've seen that officials of the central government will try to blast local government for underperforming. And for them, in defense, they will say that the government doesn't allocate them their subvention. That's why they are underperforming. And neutrals also believe that the reason why the local councils are underperforming is because of political interference. So I would like to hear from you firsthand. What's your ministry doing in trying to support local councils in a bid to ensure development is brought before the public? And also, this government is also... No problem. Okay, no problem. Then you can answer the question.
Stop.
Yeah, the first one is central government oftentimes blast local government for underperforming, and it is a shared responsibility because they are also duty bearers because we pay our taxes to them. But in defense, they say that the central government is not allocating them their subventions. So I would like to hear from you. Also, neutrals believe that it is due to political interference.
You are talking just to one after the other, answer and then you ask again.
No, it's one question.
No,
it's about
divide your question in 3 questions and you get your answer.
Okay. The first question is the political interference between central government and local government.
That is not true. That's a lie on record. Let them give me one example of interference. One, tell the local government council to give us one example of interference from central government to the council. One.
First of all, they said the central government is not allocating them their subventions, which is their birthright.
Excuse me. That just form a part of what they should be allocated from central government. That the millions they are collecting, what are they doing with that? Ask them that question.
Well, now, what's your ministry?
The hundreds of millions they are collecting. That's just chicken what they are talking about. What are they doing with that?
Okay, you are the ministry. You are the oversight ministry.
Not minister, not ministry. Go ahead. I'm the minister of looking at it. Yeah.
I'm referring to your ministry.
Yes.
Since it is serving as an oversight on them, you approve their budgets.
Yes.
So in approving those budgets, their subventions should be allocated too. So they said the reason why they are underperforming is because you people are also not supporting them. So I want to know what is the Ministry of Local Government doing in trying to support them so that they can perform, because it's a shared responsibility.
Let me tell you that this government supports local government than any other government. The problem of the matter is these councils are more political today than we serving the people that elected them. They are into more of politics than delivering service, dividends of democracy. Why they are elected to their electorate? And they try to use the government as an scapegoat. It's baseless allegations. It's not true. And the public knows that they are collecting hundreds of millions on their behalf and they are not putting it into proper use. That's the fact.
Final question. This government is an advocate of transparency and digitalization. So I want to know, land allocation, is the registration done manually or there are mechanisms on the way that will...
I will ask you a question. Repeat your question. You know what you are asking doesn't carry weight.
I say this government is an advocate of transparency and digitalization. You are an advocate. Only that this government... I'm not aware of that.
Yes. Tell me what you want to ask and I give an answer.
Honorable Minister, you heard my question very well. I said this government is an advocate of transparency.
Not only advocate, it's a government of transparency.
This government...
No, this government is a government of transparency.
Honorable Minister...
It's a fact. The fact that we are here talking to you is a fact.
Why?
Not advocate.
Why?
Confirm first.
I want to know if the registration... is land registration or allocation done manually, or there are mechanisms on the way that will ensure that if
you know, let me tell you. There is efforts through the support of the World Bank to digitalize the entire land registration, land administration system. The tender, I think, will be closing today, and I'm sure those interested have made their bid. This government is dedicated, ready, prepared to make sure to deliver the best land administrative system in this country.
Okay, good afternoon, Honorable Minister.
Yes.
You told National Assembly members sometime this year that your government is going to partner with UN Habitat, Shelter Africa, and Barrier to build 200,000 houses in the next year, and you said that you are starting with 10,000 houses by December 2025. We are now in December. Has the project taken off?
Yes, the project is to take up by next 2 weeks. We wanted to do it this week, but we have little hitches, and we are almost there, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks, you will hear something very positive from us.
We are finalizing the details.
Okay. I have a question on local government.
Who is that?
Yusuf Tim.
Yes.
Yes. So my question, you've quite rightly or wrongly criticized the local government. Right? You've done that.
No, I did not
Yes.
criticize them wrong.
Yes.
I criticized them right.
Rightly
You are
or
wrong.
rightly
I
or wrong?
criticized them right.
For you rightly?
Yes.
For them wrongly?
For them.
That's
Are you
what I
speaking
said.
for them?
That's why both of them.
Are you speaking for them?
Rightly and wrongly.
I've criticized them
Let
right.
me get to my question. Huh? And you've talked about interference.
Who interfered?
You asked a question.
We did not interfere.
Yes, that's
We
what you're
did not
saying.
interfere.
You are saying that.
Yes.
Now my question is coming. My question is coming. And my question is actually asking that this government has confiscated the McCarthy Square. And I had Dr.
You are wrong. You're wrong.
No.
Excuse me,
They have
you are
not.
wrong. If you
Okay.
say confiscated,
Then what is
who
going on?
owns McCarthy Square?
Then what is going
No,
on?
I'm asking you a question. Confiscation takes ownership into place. Who owns McCarthy Square?
Clarify.
I'm asking, no, you are saying we confiscated.
From what
No,
we understand.
excuse me. You saying, excuse me. You say we confiscated. That means somebody owned it.
You know the problem is
Who owns
you
it?
are not allowing me to ask.
Who owns? You use the word confiscated.
Let me ask my question.
Yeah, ask your question.
You can answer. My question is very simple. The BCC have been complaining, right, that you, this government, have seized the McCarthy Square from them.
Let me
Now
ask.
the answer is, now the question is, my question has not even come. Huh? Is this government committed to the rule of law and following the Local Government Act, which outlines how central government can acquire property belonging to the local government? Or does the government believe that it can just confiscate properties belonging to the local government?
Let me answer the question. Let me tell you. The Market Square belongs to the government of the Gambia. It was given to BCC to manage it. And we felt it was not properly managed. We took it over to manage it better. Full stop. What law? If I give you to manage, you already better take it back and manage it. Simple. Excuse me. No, we have not taken on. We own what belongs to us. We gave it for management. It's not managed. We are not managing it.
So you don't believe in following the rule of law? Or just following the rule of law?
No, but Flex, there is no law. Tell me which law has been violated.
In the local government.
No, but the Local Government Act did not. Where in the Act says that? If you outsource a property for management and they did not do it properly, you take the management back. What has it violated? Which exact point?
Excuse me. Let me help you. Excuse me. The chief of staff who was in the center of it, more controller, I invite you. Excuse me. What section of everybody is asking? Allow him to talk now. Go ahead.
Okay, first let's settle that McCarthy Square is central government property.
There's no title for this.
Then, like I said, Ahmad also told you that it was given to BCC to manage. At some point, especially towards the 60th anniversary, the general feeling was that we could do better. And then we took it over. But when they complained, we called them, and now we have a joint management arrangement, which they are happy about. Okay. By the way, central government is not interested in taking over McCarthy Square to manage for any other thing other than to make sure that this place is beautified and is clean. And any other commercial activities that is going to run there, we refer them to BCC to take care. So they don't pay the cost. I mean, OP. But while the act that we've cited, the Local Government Act, allow for ownership and management of parks it also didn't forbid central government in creating and owning a park. In the context of Makati Square, owners still rest with the central government. Thank you.
They have no title. They own it. They own it. No. We gave for management. We gave for management, and we tell you also properly manage. We revoke that.
Let me ask a question.
That is your view.
If I have my property, it's under my name, and I give it to take care of it as a caretaker. No, I'm coming.
Exactly.
You have to allow people to plan. I give you the property to say, can you take as a caretaker of my property? Yet we have not transferred anything. You are just taking care of it, and you feel in your responsibility. I can tell you that, you know what, I'm gonna do it for myself. What is important is that there's an agreement now. There's a joint management taking place, and PCC is happy. So that place is closed. Any other question? Okay.
Are you done with me? You are asking cheap questions. You have the whole cabinet here. You better ask something what people want to hear. No, you better ask questions. No government have ever accorded you this. In the history of the government, no government have ever put over almost 10 cabinet ministers before you for a whole year to review what happened, to talk about the government achievement, development, shortfalls, and when you are asking cheap questions like this, my friend.
After the